yeah, going from the reputation of what are you doing this weekend to how's the gym going or like how's your business going is like amazing. Yeah, once you get in the club scene, it's really hard to get out. And not doing well in university, I was just focused on the wrong things. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people. The gym is what like saved me. At the end of the day, what's gonna get you the results you want is consistency and discipline and showing up. Like I think some of the biggest mistakes in my life have been relying on other people for like happiness. I think that at the end of the day, the only person that will ever be there for you 100% all the time is yourself. So the relationship you have with yourself is so important. Once you get to the result, it's like, okay, well, I got here, like what now?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tool for Rise podcast, aka the #1 podcast in Winnipeg, where we document the rise and stardom of Winnipeg's talent and personalities. Turns out 83.4% of people watching this episode are not subscribed. So if you gain any value from this episode, please hit that subscribe button, and it gives us a reason to put the city on the map. Today, we have Anna Kaplan, the owner of A+ Fit, on the show to talk about her journey from being in the club industry to changing her life around in 2 years and inspiring and motivating the transformation through her body. We then talk about the mindset that it takes to be an entrepreneur, as well as some of the ups and downs that she's faced. If you gain any value from this episode, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next week.
But I want to read you what you posted on your Instagram, and it's about sacrifice.
Okay,
Sacrifice.
dive right in.
Right in. No, like, that's what I like to do. Anyways, sit back and ask yourself, is this what I really want my life to be like? Stop neglecting your health. You got one body. The bar will always be there next weekend, so will the club. The more you shy away from these things, the more you realize who is really your friend. For a while, I was so lonely, felt so lonely. It gets quiet, it gets hard, but you make sacrifices. And at the end of the day, do you really consider those sacrifices, or do you consider them healthy choices?
Amazing way to start. Let's go. Okay. I would say like 3 years ago now, when I'm pretty young still. I'm turning 21 soon, so I'm just a little baby still. But when I was fresh 18, I definitely just had that like rush and like adrenaline, wanting to go out and just partying all the time. And I worked in the club scene for like, I would say 8 months. And once you get in the club scene, it's really hard to get out. Mm-hmm. And it is so easy to be influenced to get super drunk every single time you're out. Even if you're sometimes even if you're working, like it's just the industry. Like that's what it is. You're surrounded by it, and it's like a trap almost. I would just like be out all the time during the week, every single weekend doing the same thing, even during the week doing the same thing, and surrounded by the same people. And I was in a very bad place and was completely I was not myself. And then I think the wake-up call that I had was I was in the fitness scene during that time as well, but like it wasn't like my passion yet. I wouldn't consider it like something that I was doing like all the time, and I was like making unhealthy choices as well, staying out all night, not sleeping properly. I was in university as well at the time, and not doing well in university. I was just focused on the wrong things. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people. I was still working out and like kind of getting into the gym, but it wasn't my life yet. And every time I went out or like was like out in public somewhere, people would know me as like the club girl. And they would be like, "Oh, hey Anna, how's working at the club?" Or "How's the club?" Or "Are you going out this weekend?" And I'm just like, that is not who I want to be. Like that's not who I am, and that's not who I want to be at all, and don't want to be known for. And I think the big wake-up call I had was I had a really good friend sit down with me and talk to me and just tell me like I don't necessarily care too much about my like like what other people think about me, but I want to have a good reputation. I want to have people that respect me and people that look up to me. And I realized that that was not who I was, and that's not who people looked at me for. So I had, this really good friend sat down and talked to me and basically was like, you need to get your shit together. And since I just respected that person so much and I looked up to him so much as well, I think that influenced me to like, okay, it's time to get my life together. So I quit working at the clubs and I kind of went like cold turkey almost. I would still go out here and there and I would still go out the occasional weekend, but I kind of just like did a complete 180 with my life. And I'm grateful for what I went through and like why, like going, like being that person. I'm kind of grateful that I was that person because it has taught me who I don't want to be, if that makes sense. And yeah, so that was like the turning point in my life. And then I realized after that it's like, once you get over this little hump of like getting the FOMO and like, realize, like, you just got to realize like this happens literally every single weekend and the exact same people are there every weekend. Is that who I want to be? I don't want to be in that group with the same people, and I don't want to be known as the girl who is at the club every weekend and known as the girl who gets super drunk every time she goes out. Like, that's not who I want to be. And now I've done such a 180 that I go out and people are like, how's fitness going? And how's your business doing? And they're asking me like the complete opposite questions that have been asked like 2 years ago, who I used to be. So it's like, there's so many sacrifices I guess I used to call them, that I would have to make to get to where I want to be. And yeah, I don't think I would consider them sacrifices at all now. But back then I would be like, oh, I have to sacrifice going out this weekend. But now I'm like, I don't want to go out. Like, I don't want to go to the club. Like, that's not my kind of weekend. My kind of weekend is like staying home, getting up early, going to the gym, working. So yeah, like, definitely not sacrifices.
But was that the life you knew at 18? Did you know you wanted to live the life you live now at 18?
Not at all. And I think that the gym is what like saved me. Because when I was feeling lonely or when I was feeling like bored or what should I do, I would go to the gym, even if it would be like 1 a.m. I'd just go to the gym. And it was like just like such an escape for me. And it made me feel so much better. And I also got to work on myself, my strength, my health, like internally with nutrition and my physical appearance. Like I obviously, I think everybody cares about their physical appearance. And I got to like realize how much I can build on it and make it better. And then after I realized how much it can help me, that's when I realized this is the life I want. And that's like the route I want to take. And then it like just completely changed. Yeah.
What was about that conversation that you had with your close friend that like really hit home and was like, maybe I need to change my life? Because people don't change for others, they change for themselves, right? And so was there always a point in you that didn't necessarily want to be in the club scene, or like knew that maybe this is not where my life is at and that's why it hit home so hard?
Yeah, I think me and all my close friends and family knew that was like not who I was, and I was just chasing that like high of being out. And I would always I feel like I'm such a people pleaser, or at least I used to be. So it's like somebody would say, let's go out, and I just can't say no to them. And it's like, they're like, oh, why don't you come? Like, why aren't you coming out this weekend? Or like, because I'm like, I'm not going to come out this weekend, whatever. And they'd be like, why? And I'd be like, okay, well, I guess I will. And just, it's always the like fear of being like left out. And I would have I was surrounded by a lot of people. I met a lot of people, but they weren't quality people to me. Like, they had no value to my life at all. I just saw them, they were party friends. Like, what are they going to do for me in the real world. Absolutely nothing. So the fact that somebody who was super close to me came to me and was like concerned almost and like wanted to make me better and help me was super like eye-opening, and it made me realize that like I'm letting down the people that actually care about me rather than trying to like impress or do something for people that I go and drink with. Like that's just not it. So just the people that like the fact that somebody who loves me so much had the courage to come up to me and like tell me that was very important to me. So yeah.
How does it specifically work? So like there's one thing to go to the club and have some fun and have some drinks with friends, but there's another thing to like be involved and then work almost at the club. Like what was that transition? How'd you get sucked into that?
Yeah, so when I can't even remember how I even started working. I think I was just like out I think I was out with friends at the club, and like I met like maybe one of the DJs or something, and then kind of was like like a promoter maybe who I can't even remember.
Sure.
And yeah, then ever since there they were like, "Oh, do you want a bottle serve?" And I was like, "Sure." That sounds fun. And I'm like 18 and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." Like
You get the
I'm
sparklers.
yeah,
you
like
get the
coming out with them. Like so I like
It seems fun.
It does seem
genuinely
fun. And like when you are so young, also it's like, oh my gosh, a lot of money, and like working at a club and dressing cute and like a young 18-year-old, and like even now some like there's lots of people who still love to do it, and that's totally fine. Like I'm not trying to shame people at all for doing it. Work and get your money, like I don't care.
Sure.
But for me, I just went too far, I think, and like got sucked down like a rabbit hole. And a lot of people do say, like people come up to me and they're like, "I'm so shocked you even made it out of the club industry because it's so hard to get out of once you're in it." And
How so?
it's just
Like why? Like
it's
why?
the same thing that I was explaining, like the fear of missing out, and the like
Gotcha.
everyone just wants to always be involved, and the money is really good. So a lot of people don't leave because they're like, I want to make a lot of money. And it's also, it can be fun. Like it is fun. You're basically partying and working at the same time. Without like the drinking every single time you're working. But yeah, it's like a rush of adrenaline every time you work. And then like, yeah, just being at the club, like that's what people want to do on the weekend. So it's like, why wouldn't you work that? So a lot of people are like, I'm surprised you even escaped the industry, and me too. But I'm very happy that I did. And I'm not saying that like I don't go out anymore and I don't like do things and go have drinks with friends, but it's not like it used to be, that's for sure. Yeah.
Do you think the social media has a lot of influence on that FOMO effect for people on missing out, where people want to party, they want to influence or show the world that, hey, I'm having the best life and I'm having the best time?
I think that fear of missing out wouldn't even be a thing if it wasn't for social media, because
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. So I
That's a good
wouldn't
point.
have a fear. Like I wouldn't be like, oh, I want to go out so bad, because I wouldn't even know that
That's
people are
crazy.
going out.
Right.
So I think that is literally why people have FOMO.
Yeah.
It's because of that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even thought about like
Yeah,
you
like
just wouldn't know.
I would have no idea until probably the next day. It's like,
And
oh,
then,
it's too late now, so I can't go out.
You ask like, hey, what'd you do on the weekend? And then they list you a thing, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should have done
Yeah,
that.
but
Now social media is so quick, and everyone wants to share their lives as well.
exactly.
We're about that. We record every Saturday.
Yeah,
We share our lives.
Exactly.
But your process of sharing your life online, what was the reason behind that, and why go that route?
Like now.
Sure.
I think that the reason I share so much online now is to just try and influence in a positive way. So before I was like maybe sharing the bottle service and me and my bottle girls going out or whatever. But now it's like I want to share, like if I can share that, why wouldn't I share the like most influential positive things I can to try and help people change their life? And I feel like I haven't really I've posted some things about like sacrifices and how I used to drink all the time, and now I'm like have completely changed. But I think that I haven't shared too much down that route, but I would like to, because I've been there and I've done that. And if people are going through that, I don't think that I don't think that everybody thinks that it's a problem, and I wouldn't consider it a problem unless you think it's a problem. Unless they think that, like, for themselves, that they're going down the path. Like, maybe some people want to go down that path. I don't know. It's completely up to them. But if somebody's having a hard time transitioning into, like, a different path, I want to be the one to help them, like, get through it and tell them, like, give them advice on, like, what I did to help me, like, go from this life to this life. So yeah.
I do believe that, you know, sacrifices do have to be made, and you can call them sacrifices or you can call them healthy choices, right? But sacrifices because that's all you knew at that time. You're sacrificing yourself for who you were becoming, right? Take me to the process of that sacrifice. What were the, like, nights where you're not going out, your friends are hitting you up, and you're in your house reading Alex Hormozy's book?
Yeah.
But talk me through that. Like, it's a very lonely road to go left when everyone's going right.
Yeah. I think that the thing that I had to realize the most when I was sitting at home reading Alex Hormozy's book was probably the fact that these people that, like, are my friends are not my friends. And the people that I'm missing out on, or, like, the things I'm missing out on, are not things that I want to miss out on. Things that got me through it was, like, the fact that people would only text me to, like, come out, or if they need something, or if, like, they want to do something, but, like, would they respond to me, or, like, would they help me go if I was going through, like, something tough? Or, for example, if they know I'm trying to better myself, why would these people even be trying to influence me to come out? Like, if they know that I'm trying to get out of this life and trying to help myself, why would the people that love me try and, like, pull me back in? So getting through that, like, hump of, like, the loneliness was mainly the fact that I just had to realize that these people were not people that were any benefit to my life. And yeah, they, like, were not important to me, and they had no value to me. And the people that actually loved me were the people who would sit me down and say, I'm concerned about you. And there's very few of those. So realizing that, damn, I really don't have that many friends was hard. But I would rather have one amazing friend than 100 people at the club that just they don't know me. They know me because I'm, like, I go out with them and drink. Like, that's not, they don't actually know me. They don't even know my mom's name. So, like, how can you know me? But yeah, just, like, getting past that just realization was hard, but it was important, and I would never go back to those people.
It reminds me of a quote. I shared this with Robin, and there's a guy saying that it's okay to have low friends because you only need 3 to take over the world.
It's true.
You only need 3 people to take over the world.
It's true. It's really true.
I want to break down the conversation that you had with that person, your close friend. What led to that, and what was that conversation like? And what was your mindset before and after? Because I'll take for example, if you're in the rut of doing something and that's your daily life, and someone's like, hey, listen, like, you shouldn't be doing this. It's sometimes hard to let your ego down, let your pride down, and be like, listen, let me listen to you. Let me see what you're saying.
We were actually at the gym in, like, this, like, there's, like, a fitness room that's, like, quieter. And I think that I went up to him and I was like, this, like, guy asked me if I was going out tonight, and I'm like, I don't even know who this is. Like, why would they even, like, how do they know me? Or, like, why? I can't remember the exact conversation, but then he was kind of just like, because I was just like, why would he ask that? Being, like, kind of, like, rude, and being like, why does he think he can ask me that, or whatever? And then he was like, well, why does he think he can ask you that? Because you are out all the time. It's like people are going to approach you and ask you that because that's who you are. And he was like, he kind of just like gave me an example of another person and was like, would he ask something like to this person? And would he ask to, like, if that person is going out?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, probably not. And he was like, why do you think? And I was like, because they have a different reputation and that's not who they are. And then I just like, I don't want to compare myself to other people because we're all different and we all go through different things and we're each individuals, right? So I didn't want to like completely compare myself to somebody. So I think I got a little defensive in the moment and was just like, well, like, why are you trying? I'm not her. Like, why are you trying to compare me? But then it really just like hit me after that, being like after the conversation was just like, he just kind of like gave me some inspirational, motivational speech or something. And then I just kind of sat and was like, damn, like I don't want to be approached like that. And I don't want people to just think they can approach me like that. And there's still going to be people that are going to like, I can't control what people say, but I can control my reputation a little bit. And I think that, yeah, going from the reputation of, hey, what are you doing this weekend, to how's the gym going, or like how's your business going, is like amazing. And I'm so glad that I have a better reputation now. But yeah, that conversation was like just completely 180 for me. So.
Why is reputation so important for you?
I wouldn't say that it's like the be all end all, and like, because you can't control what everyone thinks about you. People are going to have their thoughts and opinions, and let them. Like, I don't want to control them too much, but it's important, especially if you want to run a business. It's important for family and new people meeting you. They don't want to know you from the terrible things you've done. They want to know you from being an amazing entrepreneur, or being a great personal trainer, or being a very nice person. Like, things like that are just very important because, yeah, I'm trying to run a business and I'm trying to make a good life for myself, and I just would hate to be known as somebody who goes to the club like that. Yeah.
And then you mentioned you stopped cold turkey, like right away.
I would say it was basically cold turkey. Like, I would go out sometimes, and there would be some times where I'd fall back, like, and I'd like be like, great, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
like,
that's what you're used to, though. But
yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, but it was like, I just stopped showing up all the time. So, rather than going out, let's say 3 to 4 times a week, which is insane to even say out loud and embarrassing. But it would be like once every 2 weeks. And then there was a time where I just stopped drinking, and I like did like 4 weeks sober. I was doing little things to just like try and help myself. But then there was one point where I just like literally just like fell off the face of the earth. And then one time I like went back out, and someone was like, "Where have you been?" And I was like, been doing better things, not coming here. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah.
You've changed. I hope so.
Yeah.
That's the quote.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely have.
Mm-hmm. And then how does this transition into the world of fitness and taking it, okay, like, yes, I'm going to the gym, but now I want to do this for something that I'm passionate about? Because you said it wasn't your passion to begin with.
No, I honestly hated going to the gym. Like, I started working out when I was 16, 17 years old. And I was always active. Like, I played basketball in high school, and I've rode horses my whole life, so that's like active.
That's fun.
And yeah, like I used to be like full on horse girl, super different life. And
do you have a horse?
I had a horse. Oh. I sold her December 2022. But yeah, I had like a really like that was like honestly in my like little transition phase. I bought a horse, and yeah, I know, just bought a horse. But I've always like grown up like riding horses and around horses, so like it wasn't weird for me to buy a horse. So I bought a horse, but then I realized that was literally like a 2,000-pound child. and it was expensive.
Ooh.
And I just couldn't do it at the time. Like I was working like 5 jobs to take care of the horse, and I couldn't even pay for the horse, or I couldn't even see the horse because I was working to pay for the horse. Oh, anyway,
Oh.
little sidetrack there, but yeah, I sold my horse. And then I was into the fitness thing, but I wasn't like passionate about it. And then I got a personal trainer. I can't remember how long ago I got a personal trainer, but I got a personal trainer, and that was when I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go all in on this. And it was around the same time as like the transition, I'll call it the transition phase. And yeah, I started like getting really into fitness, and I was like, wow, I love this. And I could see like change in my body and my health, and I loved to see the progress. Like it was like addicting to see my body like grow. And then I started getting into it like really hardcore. Went through 2 personal trainers, and then I was like, I can't remember what was the day I was like, I want to do this, but I've always loved like business and always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had a business when I was 15 or 16. I like sold lip balms, and I had a little small business during like, when was it? I don't know. But yeah, for like 2 years I had this little small business. And I've always just had this like drive to work for myself. And then I was like, why don't I try and look into this? So then I looked into getting certified for personal training, and then I got my certifications, and then I was like looking at working under somebody. And I was working for like Fitmotive or G-Fit or something like that.
Quick eyes.
And then I was just like, you know what? I was like, why don't I just do my own thing?
Let's go.
I got influence from like my coaches, and they were great coaches, and I learned so much from them. And then once I got certified, I was like looking at all the different options, and I was like, I should just do this myself. So then I looked into starting my own business, and yeah, it's been a year now, and I love it. Like it's like my entire life. And that was, I can't even remember the initial question, but that was kind of like
How you transition.
Yes.
There you
Yeah.
go.
What was the process like? It's hard to start a business. It's not easy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of steps involved.
Yeah.
Walk me through the process.
Yeah, it was like a very quick decision, I think, because I was thinking of working under someone for so long and just being one of their coaches. So I never really it never really crossed my mind. And then one day I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I had no idea what I was doing. Like none. Yeah, I ran a little small business before, but that was like nothing. And yeah, it was everything I did was just a learning process. And I started off, I would always watch Alex Hormozy and Leela Hormozy. They're like my number one. I look up to them and always look up to them for business advice. And since they're in like the gym world, it was perfect. And I would just watch YouTube videos. One of my old friends would help me all the time, working on the business, setting it up. And honestly, like to start, I had no idea what I was doing. So I just was like, I took advice from Alex Hormozy. I got 5 clients for free, and I trained them for free because I needed results from them. I got 1 result out of the 5 because when you train somebody for free, they don't necessarily always take it completely seriously, which is totally fine. I expected it. I got 1 result, and after that 1 result, it was like I had a few people message me being like, oh my God, I like would love to be one of your clients and I would love to sign up with you. And then that's where I was like, damn, like I can do this. And that was like a few months into the business. And then, yeah, like there was a while as in like a few months or like a month or 2. But in the business world, I feel like I've been doing this for 5 years. Like that's what it feels like. I've been doing it for 5 years, but it's only been a year. But there was like a few months that was very just steady, and I was like, okay, like how do I get more clients? Like, I have no idea how to do this. And then I listened to Alex Hormozy again, and I started cold calling people. And that was like the most terrifying thing in the world. I hated it. I was buying leads from this website and just calling these people, and got literally no bites, none. And I spent like probably like too much money on these leads to buy these people's phone numbers and emails. And then finally I got one, and it felt like all of the work and all the money I spent didn't even matter, because I was like, finally got one. And the feeling of like closing your first cold call is amazing. It's like one call and close. It's like, how did I just do that? And I'm just talking to them over the phone, so it's like, how can they just like trust me? But it was amazing to feel like that. And then like everything in my business so far has just been like learn. Like, I've been learning as I go. I learn as I do. Like, I went to school for like half a semester, but I dropped out. I could not do university. It was not for me. Nor do I think it is mandatory or necessary. And I think I'm doing perfectly fine without it. But I think that everything that I'm learning throughout the business is just hands-on work. Yeah.
The whole business journey from start to finish.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a process, but it's been amazing. I love it.
Anna at 15 business. Can we break down the lip gloss business?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So it was called Simple Care Co.
Okay. Trademarked?
I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what I was doing back then. But one of my friends had a business, and I was like, oh my gosh, like.
At 15?
She was years older than me.
Gotcha.
Maybe I was 16. No, she was 19 at the time. And I looked up to her so much. Like, I thought this girl was amazing, and I thought that she was like who I wanted to be. And she had a small business, a candle company, and I was like, I want to do something like that. Seems so cool. And I love lip balm. Like, I just like have like a lip balm addiction. But anyway, so I was like, why don't I do something that I love? And go something along that route. So I had this little lip balm company. There was like lip balms, lip scrubs. It was like body care stuff. And it was all natural. And I had no idea what I was doing. All I did was like set up the Shopify business thing. And I told my parents, I was like, I'm starting a business, by the way. And they were like, oh my God, that's amazing. I was so scared to tell them. I thought they would be mad. Like, I thought they would be like, why are you doing this? And I put quite a bit of money into it. And I did it for like 2 years, but then I just stopped. I don't know what stopped me, but.
Did you make it yourself?
Yeah, I was making it myself.
Ooh.
And it was a lot of work. Yeah. And it was just like, I don't know. I didn't actually love it. Like, I love lip balm, but I don't love selling lip balm. Like, they're so different. So, it was crazy.
Was there ever a point in your business journey, even with the fitness, of like trying to cold call people, realizing that it wasn't going to work out? Or was there a moment you were like, I can't do this?
There was lots of moments that I was like, I cannot do, like, I was having nervous breakdowns because I hated calling people and I hated speaking to people. Like, I didn't know how to start conversations over the phone or sell things. Like, I was not a salesperson. Like, I was not a salesperson. I couldn't do it before, and I had no idea like how to sell things at all, especially over the phone. So much different. And just I was trying to sell myself and my programs. Not like a product. So it was there were so many times that I was like, after like calling 30 people, I'm like, literally no one wants to buy this personal training program. Like, why am I even doing this? So many times, until somebody did. And that was like, that was great. And it was like, it was motivation to keep going. 'Cause I'm like, if 1 out of 30 people want to buy my program, that's 1 out of 30 people that want to buy it. That's not that bad of a ratio. So I just kept going and I kept doing it. I haven't been doing that for a long time now. But now it's just like social media growth, and I've had like people reach out to me from all over Canada to do it, and that's like what's made me like, damn, this is like actually something, and it's motivation to keep going. Yeah.
What's one thing in the business world you didn't expect going in?
One thing in the business world that I didn't expect going in. That's a good question. It's 24/7. I think I expected to do a lot of work, but I didn't expect like it's all the time, and especially with like having clients that can reach me at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily have to respond to them right away, but like I'm going to, because that's just who I am. Like I'm not going to just leave you unread forever. But yeah, it's 24/7, and you have to work from anywhere. Like there's no like vacation time, I guess you could say. It was actually funny because you can tell when somebody like is like a entrepreneur mindset or like a employee mindset so well, because one time I was at the gym with one of my friends. Love her, she's great, love you, Michelle. I'm gonna call you out here. And she was just like she was talking about somebody and being like, I can't believe this person is working while they're in like Mexico or something. And I was like they can't just stop working. I was like, they own a business. They can't just be like, oh, I'm shutting down this online business for a week. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's just how you know, like there's different mindsets. Like some people would be willing to do that and some people wouldn't be. So that's how you know like kind of where you stand, and like, are you an entrepreneur and you're willing to do that for your business, or are you an employee and like you want the time off, you know?
But this world needs both types of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if everyone's entrepreneurial,
exactly, you can't have everybody on the same page. Everybody has to do different things for sure.
It's true. I would say there's a balance though. I'll go against you guys, right?
Go for it. Let's talk.
Because think about it. What happened to you?
That's true. That's
right?
true.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I think there's a balance to where I think the grind culture. There's a grind culture in social media where they say that you have to work 24/7. Yeah, to an extent you do. Mm-hmm. To get to where you want to be in life, you do have to work your ass off. But I think there is also a balance where if you need to take a day off to go to Mexico, like go to the beach, bro. Like this is what like why are you starting a business? Everyone wants to start a business to buy some sort of freedom, right? Yeah. And if you're at a beach and you can't even enjoy the fruits of your labor, what was that fucking worth? Yeah. That's nothing. Yeah. And so there is a balance where, you know, if you're at a beach, if you're going to be staying up till 5 a.m. in the morning, yeah, it's required, but don't sacrifice your well-being. Don't sacrifice your freedom for that.
Yeah. I think it all comes down to the stages of the business that you're at. Yeah, because like for me personally, I wouldn't really have the option to just like I have time off. Like I'm not constantly working, but it's just the hours are like super scattered out, and I'm going to be doing things at different times of the day. It's not always going to be like work the whole day. I'm going to have time to like relax, whatever. But yeah, it all comes down to like whatever stage you're in. Exactly. But exactly, I do want to work up to the point where I can just have people under me and working for me that I can just go to the beach for a week and I can just worry about my manager doing something about whatever has to happen. Yeah. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The caveat to that is, what else are you gonna do? Like, what else are you gonna do? Yeah, the beach is gonna be fun, but how long do you stare at a beach till it's like, okay, I'm bored? Yeah, no, that's like I'm actually bored. Like it's a great view, but like 1 hour staring at a beach is great. Like
tanning.
Like
tanning. Yeah, I'll take a nap on the beach.
It's literally like it's
yeah, you feel the same way.
Yeah, it's like we'll sit at home and I'm like, I spend like 30 minutes on my phone. I'm like, oh my god, man, what am I doing with my life? Like, yeah, it's just. I'd rather be building something. It takes, I think it's a very certain mindset, but I do believe that there is a balance, right? You should be able to, as much as I want to say you want to flip on the switch and break it and throw it away, you need that kind of just trim it that back, bring it back down a little bit. But
Yeah, hot take. People who watch 3-hour movies and
Oh
it's
my
not a
God.
good movie.
I cannot sit through movies.
either.
I can't, like, the only movies I can, or like TV shows I can watch, or like, it's so embarrassing, but like Love Island or something like that. Because it's like,
It's a good show.
it's like entertaining and there's always something happening. But like movies, if they're over even 1 hour, like I can't watch movies. I don't have the attention span for it. I can't do it.
If the movie's good, I'm okay with it. But if I
I
spend
don't even
3
know.
hours and the movie
Like
sucks,
Dune or something.
I haven't watched
Dune's
Dune.
a good movie,
Apparently
though.
Dune was so bad.
Dune's
That's
a
what I
good
heard.
movie. Dune's a good movie.
Okay, maybe it
I have
is.
no
I don't
idea.
know.
I
I don't
don't
watch movies like that.
I have not
but-
watched Dune. But if I get to the end of the movie after 3 hours and it sucks, I'm gonna be like, yeah, just
That was
wasted
such
3
a
hours.
waste of my time.
You wasted
yeah.
my time. Yeah.
When you started bettering yourself and improving and focusing more on your, self-improvement, a lot of mindset changes, right? And so the people that you're hanging out with, did you ever have them be like, "Oh, you've changed now. You're a business owner, right?" What was that like?
Yeah, I definitely had people and still have people to this day say you changed. But I think that the problem here was that I met a lot of people when I was 18. So like their first impression of me was that, not who I am now. So like obviously I've changed in your view, but like was that really who I was before, or was that just like a fake version of me? I think it was just like me trying to be someone I wasn't. So yeah, I definitely have people that are like, you've changed. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't make me like want to like go back or make these people like, what do I owe these people? Like I've changed, okay, and what is that to you? Like why do you care? And like unless you are like somebody that I care about and you love me and I love you, it really doesn't bother me at all. So
Especially if the change is positive.
yeah, and
Right?
I'm like,
if you changed negatively, then
Yeah.
you'd say, okay, thanks for
Yeah,
letting me know.
exactly. And I'm like, kind of like, thanks. Like I have changed. I know. That's like good that you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad.
The best reply to that is, "I hope so."
Yeah,
hope so.
exactly.
What's I don't know the exact thing, but it was like people around you don't want to support you because they see you become what they wish they could have, something like that.
There's
I don't
a
know
lot,
the exact.
There's a lot of like, jealousy. I would
jealousy,
say.
yeah.
And like I wouldn't even, I don't know if I would even call it jealousy. It's intimidation. Like people hate to see people doing better than them if they are not where they want to be,
Yes,
and
yeah.
they're trying to become like you, but you've got there faster. If people are like, if you see that as a threat, you have to work on yourself, because you should see that as like motivation. You should see that as you like, why wouldn't you just like take after them or ask them for advice or become close with somebody who you want to be like? Surround yourself at a table of people who like you want to be like, not people who you don't want to be like.
Well, we talked about this before, like jealousy versus envy. So it's like one thing to be jealous about someone and be like, I don't want you to succeed. And envy is like, I respect everything you do. I want to get there as well.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's something that we talk about like almost every episode.
Every
now.
episode, yeah.
It's we've talked about, but yeah, no, the world is, there's room for everyone at the table. So it's
like there's a lot of times people are like, even say like the fitness industry is very oversaturated, but I feel like it's oversaturated with the wrong people. There's fitness influencers who are trying to sell their BBL programs even though they just got a BBL. So it's like there's a lot of like influencers nowadays that are like, people are looking up to these people rather than people who like actually know their shit. And I feel like it's just like a very oversaturated business. But if you find like, if you are the right person and you are teaching the right things, there's not a lot of people who actually know their stuff. Like there is a lot of people that know their stuff, but like it's very oversaturated with a lot of people who are just trying to sell the wrong things and do the wrong things.
How do you tell the difference between them?
Honestly, I feel like when you kind of like know your stuff and have been, it's just like, I feel like it's all just like experience to like knowing what you can tell. But like these brand new people that are trying to start their fitness journey, for example, are not going to know the difference between somebody who has, for example, a genetically amazing body, rather than somebody who's like actually like transformed themselves or a BBL versus like a gym like butt, for example. There's a lot of times that like a person who's brand new to the gym will not know that, but that's where like we as in me and like hopefully other people just try and be like, no, stop preaching this and stop saying that this is how you got this, because it's not. And doing this exercise or eating this supplement is not going to like completely change you. Go to a professional, ask for the right advice, and hopefully people that are on the same page with me will preach that to the world as well. But it's really hard to tell the difference, like unless you're like experienced and know what kind of you're talking about. It's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, because like an outsider coming in, your only measurable goal is what the actual trainer looks like. If the actual trainer is jacked, perfect, get me there, right?
Exactly.
And so how do you really tell the difference between who's real and who knows their stuff versus someone who's just creating FOMO online?
Yeah.
It's difficult. But how do you actually, like, what's required? If you were to give like a formula to achieve your ideal body, what's the equation looking like?
My formula is eat right, eat whole foods, eat healthy, eat unprocessed foods, and show up. Like, go to the gym. It's consistency. Like, you can be doing all these fancy exercises and following these fancy diets or whatever, but like at the end of the day, what's going to get you the results you want is consistency and discipline and showing up. Like, you're not going to be motivated. Like, I swear I'm motivated 1% of the time. I don't. Motivation is a very minimal thing, and it's not there like ever. But if you have a goal and you're disciplined enough to stay to that goal, show up, stay consistent, and you will get to where you want to be. It's so simple. There's no cheat codes around it, and there's no fasting things or doing all these fancy things that the internet is telling you to do nowadays. It's as simple as showing up. Like, literally, that's it. So that's the cheat code. It's just show up.
And so then as a trainer, we've had trainers on the show before, Shane, Brett, G-Fit, all the guys. And one side of fitness, yes, eat right, train right. But how important is instilling that mindset into your client, right? There's people, like we said, two different types of people. They might just be like motivated for 2 weeks and then fall off, right? New Year's resolution, new year, new me, let's go get big.
Yep.
But
and then 2 weeks later,
no one's at the gym. They're not there.
Yeah.
Right? But you're their trainer now. So how important is not only, okay, they can eat right, they can work out right, their training regimen is the perfect or whatever. How do you instill that sort of discipline into them?
Yeah, like...
Is that the harder part than...
100%. I can teach somebody how to work out like all day, and I can teach them what meals to make and show them what to do. But the hardest part is keeping them motivated and mindset building, like working on their mental health as well, because it's such a big part. Like, but also like just teaching them that you physically feel well, the more like mentally you'll feel better. And yeah, like that's showing up is literally like 100% of the ways that you get your results. So instilling that mindset in them is like super important. And
how do you do that?
Like it's different to each their own. Like some people need the extra push of just like, where do you want to be? And just always reminding them of their end goal. Where, like you said, look how bad you wanted this a month ago. It's like, why don't you want it now? But they're like, but I do. It's like, okay, so we know what we need to do here. And just always being like the supportive person. You don't, like, I don't ever want to be too, like, at the end of the day, it's not up to me who's going to change. Like, I can't completely change them. I can give them the tools to get there. But at the end of the day, just reminding them that this is completely up to you. Like, this is what you want. Why do you want this? Give them a list of what, or tell them to write a list of why they want it. They give me 10 reasons. Okay, why wouldn't you want it? None. So it's like you have your answer right in front of you. And then that, like, there's just little things that you can do to motivate somebody, remind them, be supportive at the same time, not be like angry and being like, why wouldn't you go to the gym? Like, why wouldn't you eat healthy? Why wouldn't you do this? Rather than being like, this is why you should do this. And always just being the supportive person, helping them along the way, every step of the way. Yeah.
What if their answer is, it was too hard? It's harder than I expected. And I'm good. Like, I wanted to be gigantic and huge,
Yeah.
but it's like a lot of work.
Yeah. Like, I've never had somebody say,
Oh.
I just want to be like that.
Yeah.
Or like, it's too hard, like I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like, at the end of the day, they're always going to want it. Like, I don't think I ever have heard somebody say they want to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants to get better and everybody wants to change. The discipline, it won't always be there, but that's how you need to, that's why you need to like change it and like instill it into their mind and be like, remind them and make themselves remind themselves of what they need to do. And I don't think I've ever had somebody be like, I've had people say it's too hard.
Sure.
And it's like too much for me. But that's why you need to take a step and like, I always go through like a meeting with them, for example, and be like, okay, what does your schedule look like? Like, why is this too hard? Because you have 24 hours in your day. And how much time do you, for example, your screen time on your phone, is it 8 hours? Because if it is, but like different, like if you work on your phone, that's so different. But like, how much time a day do you spend scrolling on your phone? And how much time a day do you spend laying and watching TV? You can literally go and exercise for 30 minutes 4 times a week or 3 times a week and start seeing results. It does not take, like, it's not rocket science. It takes a little bit of the time of your day. 4% of your day is a 1-hour workout. And if you're telling me you don't have 30 minutes here and 30 minutes there to do some sort of physical activity, I think you're lying. I think it's very rare that somebody doesn't have 30 minutes.
That's fair.
Even just like if you have a phone call or something, go for a walk while you're on your phone call. Like, do something. I find it hard to believe that people don't have time. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel like when everyone thinks about working out, they immediately think, oh, I have to go to the gym and I have to like bench 45s, and it's just like, yeah, you just gotta do this. But like simple things as just picking up the phone and going for a walk and talking to your friends, that's working out, right? And so how do you explain that to, like, that's the FOMO I would say about the fitness industry, is that like when you go on Instagram, you're gonna see, oh, I just like squatted like 6 plates, PR today, guys. Like, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
How do you simplify it for a beginner, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you do that as a fitness trainer?
I agree with the FOMO almost of the working out, because even personally, like, I go and I'm squatting, for example, a plate, and I see this girl beside me squatting 3 plates, and I'm just like, why am I even doing this? But then I'm like, you know what? We all start somewhere, and it takes those baby steps, especially at the beginning stage, of just showing up. I even recommend, like, my clients who can't get into the habit of going to the gym, just going basically every day for like 2 weeks. Even if you don't work out, go and show up, so you like just make it a priority or a habit of just like doing something, or going for a walk for 30 minutes. Like, you don't need to do the maximum. Like, you can, people think that if you're not going for a 1-hour walk, why am I not even going for a walk at all? Like, I had somebody say that to me the other day, and I'm like, well, 30 minutes, for example, you can get how many steps in 30 minutes? It doesn't need to be even 15 minutes. Like, just do something, and then keep working your way up. Like, it doesn't need to be this intense 2-hour leg day, and you're squatting, deadlifting, everything like that. Walk on the treadmill or go outside and take a walk. It is just like the little things that add up over time that is going to get you so far. And people will just think that if they're not doing everything and the maximum, that they shouldn't just do it at all. And I think that to myself too sometimes. I'm like, oh, I only have an hour to go to the gym because my lifts are usually like an hour and a half. I'm like, oh, I only have an hour. Like, why am I even going? But then I just could try and change my mindset and be like, I have an hour. That's a long time. Rather than, oh, I only have an hour.
Yeah.
It's like you got to look at it the half glass full, not empty. And that's a big part of working out as well.
It comes down to, like, going back to the conversation we had earlier about, like, the social media, the club life. Dopamine is right away, right? You don't get, in the gym, you don't get the results right away. You don't go one day to the gym and next week you have a 20-inch bicep. It's not usually how it works, unless you're already at 20 inches. That makes sense. But, like, it's not right away. It's not instant, right?
Yeah.
And that's that mindset training that kind of, I think, is very difficult to do. And the reason I asked that question is, me and my cousin were writing a book, okay? So, children's book.
Okay.
And it's a project that he decided he wanted to do on his own. And so I'm like, okay, let's work. Come over, let's work. Let's start doing the work. And we thought writing a children's book was going to be easy. Once upon a time, the end. Happily ever after. Like, turns out it's a lot harder to write a children's book.
Yeah, I bet.
So we got through, and then have like a day in, he goes, yeah, I'm good. Like, we're done. And I didn't have anything. I was like, all right, cool. Like, see you on the weekend.
Yeah.
But I can see you now relating that to, like, the gym world. If you cannot motivate your clients, if you cannot motivate them, like, I was not able to motivate my cousin, poor kid. Yeah. But he's not going to be able to finish that book, or in your case, not going to be able to get the results that they need.
Yeah.
So,
like,
it's a tough job.
It is tough, and everybody wants to get to the destination, but they don't want to go through the journey. They don't want to get there and take the steps to get there. Like, once you get to the result, it's like, okay, well, I got here, like, what now? So it's like, all it is like the journey. That's literally, once you get to the result and get to where you want to be, it's like that's not the end. Like, you're going to keep going. So it's like, the entire thing is the process. Like, the entire getting to the result is literally all the process. Like, you have to go through everything. And if you think that you are just going to get to where you want to be, and then you get there and it's like, okay, well, what now? So you need to learn, you need to enjoy the process. There's no wiggling your way around it. That's just, you have to go through it. So, yeah.
Did you have your moment of what now? Like, you went through hell and back. You know, you gave up your club industry, changed your whole life around in a matter of, like, what, 2 years or something?
Yeah.
Did you have your what moment now? Like, when you got out from the ashes?
Yeah. Definitely, I still have it. Like, I get to my goal. For example, I set goals for myself and I get there and I'm like, okay, well, what now? But I've changed my mindset to just, like, I just enjoy, like, everything that I do, and I enjoy the process, and I enjoy going through the motions, and I just enjoy doing day-by-day things. And I think the first time I probably had my, like, what now moment was I had the body that I wanted. I think it was after I ran my first half marathon. I finished the half marathon, and I was like, okay, well, that was a goal checked off, and that was, like, what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And then I was just like, okay, let's keep going. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, like, a constant, like, I wouldn't even call it, like, what now moments for me anymore. Like, it's just, like, a constant just flow. Like, I'm just going through life, and I'm just taking it day by day. But, like, I have ambitions, and I have goals, and I have things I want to do that keep me, like, excited, and my life is interesting, and I travel, and I work hard, and have a business. Like, it's great. Yeah.
Talking about day-to-day activities, can we talk about 75 hard?
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, great. I knew this would come up sometime. Yeah, so I tried 75 hard.
We did too. We're not going to say it.
We did make it.
Okay, we're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
We're all in this together, okay.
Kill us if you want, Meg.
Yeah, whatever. I still stand to all the things I said. Like, all the things I say about 75 hard, I think I still stand to them. And
What are those?
How it's amazing if you want to discipline yourself. It's amazing if you're somebody who is not disciplined and wants to create a habit of going to the gym or being healthy, it's hard. And it's supposed to be hard. And I hear people say a lot of the time, oh, it's not sustainable and it's not realistic. But like, that's the point of it. Like, obviously it's not sustainable and not realistic. Like, that's why it's called 75 hard. It's not 75 easy. Like, it's supposed to be hard. That's the whole point of it. And I think that it takes a very strong person to go through it and finish it. Not me. But yeah, like, I still stand by all of that. And I'm not saying that I'm not a strong person because I failed it, whatever. But I'm at a place in my life that I basically do all of those things anyway. I eat very healthy. I drink enough water. I don't drink at the moment. I work out every day, etc. It's so time consuming, and trying to run a business and working a side job as well and doing all these things, like, I genuinely do not have time to go for a 45-minute outdoor walk. It's just not gonna happen. Like, I don't have time for that.
I think you're lying.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Excuses.
That's true. That's true. I just finished saying.
I think you're lying.
But the problem was I'm not gonna cut my lifts short. Like, so it's like says 2 45-minute workouts and one of them has to be outside. My lift is an hour and a half anyway. Like, so I'm like, that's already 2 45-minute workouts.
Sacrifice.
I know.
Okay.
Everything I just said in this podcast, I take back.
No, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
We
We
do the
didn't
same
make
thing.
it. We didn't make it.
Like the toughest challenge for me, I think, was we did like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I think we got a month.
Yeah,
we got a month because we did it like before, and it was like 75 days left to the end of the year.
Yeah.
And so we started like
Yeah.
New Year's we're
Yeah.
gonna hit, but yeah, we didn't make it.
Yeah, like I think the toughest challenge for me was the sticking to the gym aspect of it.
See, mine was water.
Yeah, I could
Mine
do the
was
water.
water.
I could do the eat like healthy eating. I could do all of that. It was just like getting my ass to the gym. But changed was like, I think for me it was just like the gym aspect wasn't so important because I was interested in other fitness things. So I like running, for example. I love doing that.
Yeah.
And like recently in November I ran 30 miles in 30 days, right?
Oh.
So a mile a day,
Yeah.
basically. But that was just like my version of 75 hard. It was just like proving myself that I could do it, right? But I think the 75 hard is almost like I want to do it one day. We'll see if it
Do it.
happens.
Do it. Start right now.
But no, but the thing is, I think the fact that I did the 30-day challenge,
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, if I can do that, I could do this. Like, this is like,
Yeah.
And so the goal now, I think it's like running the full marathon. Like, I did the half last year.
Yeah.
And so now it's running the full, and this guy's doing 50K, right?
Should I can announce it here.
Yeah.
50K?
Yeah, I'm
Marathon?
I'm doing, so starting April 27th, I'm doing 50Ks in 50 days. So 50 days from April 27th is June 16th.
Okay.
I think you said that wrong.
April 27th.
You have.
I'm running,
you have
I'm training for 50K for 50 days.
Oh.
In 50 days.
Oh,
In
okay.
50 days, whatever
Okay,
that means.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will
So
be
you're running 50K like
not every day, no. But
no, but
but
like you are at
yes.
the end, you're gonna run
yes,
50K.
on June 16th.
Oh, like the for the marathon?
Yeah, the
Nice.
super run. So
We'll be
that's
there.
announced.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll
Are
be
you
there
running
at the
full?
finish. I'm gonna do the half.
Let's do the full. Come on. Let's do the full.
No,
Let's do the full.
I'm not committing to anything. I'm doing the half in like the Winnipeg Police one.
Okay.
Um,
That's soon.
yeah, it's literally like a month away.
Ooh,
Have you trained?
I ran 5K 2 days ago.
Nice.
let's go.
For the first time in like a long time. But I did the half. I did the Winnipeg Police one last year as well. So my only goal for this year is just beat my time, and I think I might do another half for the Manitoba Marathon, but haven't really decided yet.
Marathon's a different game. Like even half marathons like different. Like running is an entirely different game.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's not. If you think you can go to the gym and like lift weights and run, like if you think those are like the same, you're wrong.
No.
It's so different. Such a different kind of training too. I did not train at all last year. Like, probably ran 5 times before it, and still did okay. But it was hard, a challenge, but it motivated me to do something else.
If the 15-year-old Anna was looking up to you right now, and you were to reflect back and tell her some pieces of advice, or what would like a message to your younger self be?
A message to my younger self would be just don't give up and be selfish to an extent. Focus on yourself. Yeah, like I think some of the biggest mistakes in my life have been relying on other people for like happiness. Especially like in the last year, I feel like I completely lost myself because or like last year, I completely lost myself because I was relying on somebody for my happiness, like 100%. But then I kind of realized that before it was too late, and I got out of that and I started doing things alone, and I started being selfish and saying no to people. And then, yeah, I am like totally fine by myself. And I think that at the end of the day, the only person that will ever be there for you 100% all the time is yourself. So the relationship you have with yourself is so important. And I wish I worked on it sooner, but now I'm like, I did. And I am so glad that I did. And it's so important. And I really encourage everybody to like focus on themselves 100%. Build that relationship up.
Do you have any regrets?
No.
No.
I always think to myself, I'm like, oh, I wish I could go back and not do that. But everything I've done in life has shaped me, as cliche as it sounds. It's shaped me into who the person I am. And without going through all of that, I wouldn't have learned everything I've learned. Like, I've learned so much in the last few years of what I want to be, what I don't want to be, the people I want to surround myself with, things that I've just like learned in my day-to-day life. And yeah, I would not go back for 1 second. Everything happens for a reason, and I will always believe that.
Yeah. If you were to walk away from this podcast and think to yourself, I wish those guys asked me that question, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to touch on before we end off?
Now I feel like I should say something.
You don't have to. What's something the world should know about Anna?
Yeah, that they don't know. Only if they listen to this episode.
Only if they listen to this episode. Oh, I don't even know because I share everything on Instagram. But I don't think everybody listens to that either. I think, yeah, just like basically touching on my last message, just, yeah, I think that the last year, I really have like found myself completely. I'm a very independent person, and I relied on somebody way too much for like everything in me, and literally all of my happiness came from this one person, which was so dangerous. Like, it's so dangerous for your mental health because people come and go all the time, and you can never like rely on somebody to always be there for you because you are the only person that will always be there for you. So building the relationship with myself, doing things alone, I would like go to the golf dome alone and just like hit golf balls, or go for walks, or like go out for dinner and even eat by myself, like doing things like that just to like build on the relationship with myself and completely transform, like going from somebody that relied on somebody 100% to somebody who only relies on themselves. So that was like very important to me as well. So I think that that's like the only, I don't even think that was like, that wasn't a question, but that was something.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I had a very similar experience almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
And it was like, shit. When that happened, it was like, oh man, what do? I don't even know how to be happy.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
So then you go to work.
Yeah.
And yeah, life changes.
And you try and mask the feeling of like loneliness with like work or something, but I think that that's like a very also like dangerous thing to do.
I think it was the best thing I could do.
Really?
I think so.
I'm with him.
I honestly, the reason I say this is because if it wasn't for my work or the stuff that I was doing in the summer, I don't think I would have made it out. I literally don't. I think the position that I was in, especially mentally, it's like, yeah, you rely on someone to make you so happy, and you're like, you rely on like certain things and you start like actually liking yourself, and when that goes away, it's like, oh, whoa, this is like, I don't know who I am at this point, right? You lose a part of yourself.
Yeah.
And so when I went through that, it was like, okay, let's go to a construction site. And my job is not to swing hammers, but I was like, you know what? Let me swing a hammer. And just doing the work, being on site, doing things that I never thought I could do, and proving it to myself of like, yo, you did that, and now you have like, same thing as you.
Yeah.
I would go to like, I was out in Brandon living on myself, and I would go to family restaurants, and I would be the only one at a table eating by myself, and everyone's just like giving me those looks, and I'm like, let it all sink in.
Yeah.
And those are the moments that I'm like, okay, yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, that was my way of working on myself.
Yeah.
It was like I dove into my work and I became the best version of myself that I could, because I think personally for me, my self-worth is a reflection of the work that I put out.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was why I was like, I need to work. I needed that job to like get me where I am in life.
Doing things that are like self-improving.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. I think that the part with me is like, I just didn't want to mask every emotion that I was going through, and I wanted to let myself go through like, I'm a human being. Like, I want to be able to be sad sometimes. Like, you don't want to completely hide it, and try and like completely push it away, because one day it will come back to you if you don't go through it. So yeah, but doing things like that were self-improving helped me feel better about it and go through it like alone, but not alone, because I was like, I'm fine with myself. So
and I think a part of that is like, society now is like, you know, guys don't show their emotions, right? And so for me, it was like, okay, let me try to mask my emotions. But I went to construction site and I was talking to the guys who were going through way more harder shit than I was going through. And I was like, yo, if he can come out here and work 10 times more harder than me, come on now. Like,
I always used to think that. Like, I always used to be like, for example, like, because I went through a breakup and I was like, people are married for 30 years and they get divorced. Like, if they can go through that and they're still fine and walking around happy life, I will be fine. Like, I will be fine. So I would always just say that, and I'd be like, I'm just a wimp.
Let's go.
Yeah.
any advice you have for the world or listeners out there? A message that you want to leave behind for the audience?
Same thing. Work on yourself, focus on your goals, and do things that are going to improve you. And surround yourself with people who are quality people and are going to bring positive value to your life.
On that note, I think this is the best way to end off the podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, check out Anna. We'll tag everything in the description below, and keep improving. Peace.
Peace.